Share it, live it, do it. That is a very powerful slogan for this year's Black History Month celebration, which is going to be launched and open officially in Edmonton on January the 30th, right across from ArtSphere right here at Citadel Center. So at the Citadel Theater, we'll have lots of celebrations for Black History Month, but the official opening organized by NBCC will be taking place right there, January 30th. We are going to have lots of activities from performances to speeches to different exciting stuff, bringing out different things in the community. So there is no better time to talk about Black History Month than now. And we are going to be doing a series of Black History Month. Every day we are going to have something about Black History Month. Today, our guest has been training lots of leaders across the world. And she's from our community, but she trains leaders from every community, and she has a very important event coming up. She's also the keynote speaker for the opening of Black History Month. So there's no better time to bring such a guest than today. So I'll be very happy to talk with Janet, some of the tips she's sharing in building leaders and sharing what is happening in the community. Needless to say, 500 people of African descent, US citizens of African descent, were made citizens of Ghana this week. 500 new Ghanaians became Ghanaians this week from US because of the year of return that took place in 2019 for those who want to reconnect with their roots, 400 years after slavery. So lots of stuff we are going to be talking about at Black History Month. Ladies and gentlemen, without talking too much about Black History Month or the leadership training, let's introduce our wonderful guest, Janet. How are you,
so much. I'm wonderful, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thanks for coming to ArtSphere,
Absolutely.
Voices of Impact, and I see you have a lot of impact, so you are the guest to share some of that impact with our audience at Diversity Magazine.
Absolutely,
and ArtSphere.
yes.
So how would you introduce yourself?
So my name is Janet James, and I was originally born in England, and I moved to Canada in 1980, August the 27th, actually, 1980, and I was recently living in Winnipeg, and now I'm back in Edmonton.
Welcome back home.
Thank you very much. Glad to be back home.
The best city in the world,
of course.
by definition. So what do you do for work?
So I own my own business, which I started in June of last year, 2025, and it's called Janet James Growth Leadership. What I do is I mentor, I coach, I do speaking events, and I do that all over the world, right? I had the opportunity to be able to do that, and I'm also a John Maxwell leadership member. So I've been, with that for over a year now. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
for those who don't know, John Maxwell is one of the biggest names in leadership training across the world. So being from that agency, the next question will be, what do you do for leaders? How do you train them?
So one of the things that I do is I get real. And by that, what I mean is getting real means that I help them uncover who they are, where they want to be, where they're going, and how we're going to get there. And I map out a plan for them to be able to get to where they want to be able to be. But we also go through some very serious work where it comes to uncovering all of the darkness that may be there or may not be there, but the struggles that they have, why they feel that they're not moving forward. So if they're stuck and they want to be able to uncover what that is, I help them with that.
So what are the challenges that leaders face, and how do you help them overcome?
That's a great question. So leaders face a number of different challenges. Sometimes it is imposter syndrome, where they're in a role, and I've been there myself, they're in a role where it's a high leadership role, and they don't feel like they belong there. And sometimes it depends on how they're made to feel with their other peers. So being really important to being strong, to stand on your own identity, to understand where you came from, what you want to do, how you're going to get there is one of the things. And then also to be honest with themselves, right? Sometimes we take positions because of the value that comes with it, but not necessarily the work. Right? The more that you learn, the more that you understand who you are and where you're going. But it's also really important to show up being authentic and to be honest and to be, in a position that that you own because of the work that you've been able to do.
Okay, and besides imposter syndrome, at the beginning, I know you mentioned to me so many other problems that they face.
Yes.
So you want to touch, so at least those who are watching might find themselves in these situations, and at least that there's help.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we feel stuck, and sometimes our peers aren't where we are. So, you'll have friends that'll say to you, no, you know what, don't do that, try this instead. But if you have a vision of your life and where you want to be, my suggestion is to follow it and ask for the right people. Surround yourself with people that are going to pick you up, lift you up, and not put you down. So that's staying with that positive, that positive affirmation. And one of the things that we're going to be doing in the, event that we have is we're looking at not qualifying leaders, but clarifying leaders so that they understand that the path that they're on is the right path. And what else can they possibly do? And sometimes we have to go a little bit deeper and uncover all of the myths that we have and that we're living and make sure that we're addressing them. And then we call it working through that shift, right? That shift, that identity shift of here's where I think I am, but here's where I really am. And then here's how I identify. So showing up to be authentic in everything that you do. But it also takes a lot of commitment and it also takes a lot of hard work.
So talking about hard work, talking about clarity from leaders, you have a very important role to play this Black History Month. You are the keynote speaker for the opening of Black History Month event on January 30th at the Citadel.
Yes.
So without giving you a speech before the time, what are you going to be driving home? What's going to be some of the messages you want the leaders present to take home?
I'll be really honest with you. One of the things that I think is really important is, first of all, how grateful I am to have that position of being able to do that. It's a dream for me, and it's such an honor. Like I said earlier, I moved here August the 27th, 1980. And years later, here I am to be able to do this. And I think one of the things that is really important is connection. For the community to continue to connect, for the community to continue to grow, right? But one of the biggest things for me is, what are we doing with our youth? What do we show our youth in order to become part of the community, but not even being part of the community, but be involved in the community? And how many times do we have the opportunity to teach and show our youth and we don't do that, right? So it's a celebration of the history of Edmontonians, the history of Canadians, the history of our roots that we're going to be able to bring together. And, I'll be honest, my speech isn't 100% there yet, but these are things that come to me when it comes to leadership. We're lacking in leadership in the world. And to be able to have leaders now, it takes a lot of strength, it takes a lot of courage, but it also takes a lot of training and a lot of work. So that's some of the things that I think is really important when we talk about, Black History Month. Look at where we're coming from. Look at the seeds that were planted for us. It's fruitful, but are we taking advantage of it to the fullest? Are we giving our best when it comes to what we can do in Edmonton?
So before Black History Month event on January 30th, you have an event where you are training leaders.
Yes.
Talk a bit about your event journey.
So I am one of the partners in High Road Summit, right? So High Road Summit has been around for over 3 years, and it started off with the history of John Maxwell. So we get to do an event for leaders that has simulcast speakers. So we have John Maxwell. And this is simulcast because everybody always says to me, John Maxwell's going to be there, and I'm like, no, simulcast, right? So simulcast, we've got John Maxwell, we've got Anthony Trucks, we have Valerie Burton, and we also have Jesse Cole. These are all worldwide famous people that have done that identity shift and know exactly what their purpose is and where they're going. So we also are facilitating. So I'm going to be one of the facilitators there, and I'm facilitating after Anthony Trucks that talks about doing the dark work, which is something that I think is extremely important. So this day is not to tell people what to do, but it's to clarify what they're already doing. It's to help them align themselves with their true purpose and also recognize the areas that they can grow in. So we have some Edmonton speakers there as well that will be there. So 2 local speakers that I think is going to be doing a phenomenal job as well. But really, what we want for people to do when they come out of that room is feel empowered. We want them to be on the path that they have chosen for themselves for 2026. What does that look like? Are they aligned with their true purpose? Are they showing up every day? And that's the purpose of us doing this leadership. And let me say, it's the first one in Edmonton. So Live to Lead is actually done, throughout the world, right? So it's happening all over the world right now between October and the end of February. And I'm so proud to be able to be a part of hosting it here in Edmonton.
Yeah,
for the first time.
There's no better way to start the year.
Absolutely, no better time.
Lifting up your spirit, lifting up your leadership skills, and empowerment.
Yeah.
Okay. We always try to bring out the artists in our guests, the fun side in our guests, the side that most people don't get to know or see about this guest. Before going there, while getting that ready, what else do you want to share before we?
So, I think one thing that I think is important to share is that, collaborating with other people is a gift. And it's something that I want to encourage everybody to do. I just had the opportunity working with Edmonton Chamber and McEwen students, where we collaborated on the business students. This was amazing. And I'm so grateful that we were able to do that because, again, this is one of the reasons why we want even students in this room, right? When you think of on Friday the 16th is when this is 9 till 4. When you think about, having the right people in the room, it's business owners, it's entrepreneurs, but let's not forget about our students, right? We invited every student from NAIT, from U of A, from King's College, like all of the other students to be in that room because I learned from those students about the one thing that they said was communication. Is where they learned a different process, right? Because we come with the idea that we know what we're doing, we're helping people, but then we forget that we have to connect with those people. And connection with people is very important, right? So that's one of the things that we want to have happen. And if you're thinking about going and you haven't decided yet, this is an opportunity right here to say, you know what, I need to be in that room. And if you need to be in that room, DM me. Right? Just let me know. It's on highroadsummit.ca.